overcast day, but it looks like the rain hopefully will stay away for this one. We'll check out the starting lineup for the Angels, presented by Honda Bloomfield. It features Eric Ibar, Howie Kendrick, and Bobby Abreu at the top. For Abreu, the only active player with 350 steals, 250 homers. Hideki Matsui, the DH today. Henry Morales at first base, Juan Rivera in left, Mike Napoli, Brandon Wood, and Reggie Willits, your bottom three. The scouting report on Tigers right-hander Jeremy Bonderman, presented by Ace Hardware.
You know, everything these days, as far as Bonderman is concerned, is about adjustments. Today, he'll need to find that good sinker at the bottom of the strike zone. Also need to throw quite a few fork balls to a lot of these left-handers. And also, Bonderman has no problem getting through the lineup first time around, but the second and third times around, they've been doing some damage against him. So it's all about adjustments. Let's take a look at the Tigers defensively today, presented by Beaumont Hospital. You got Jackson in the outfield. He runs down everything in center field. He goes foul line to foul line. Inge, Everett, Sizemore, Cabrera, Gerald Laird behind the plate, and you know that Bonderman's on the mound.
Well, in his last start, Jeremy Bonderman had a pretty good start against Texas. Things kind of unraveled a little bit. That was that game the Tigers got off to a big lead, and Bonderman making his 5th start of the season. His earned run average, trying to get that a little bit lower with his start here today against the Angels. Eric Ibar will lead things off for the Halos. Tigers won the opener in convincing fashion last night.
And Mike Scioscia has run as many left-handers to the plate today against Bonderman as he possibly could, and Bonderman will need that good split-fingered fastball today.
First pitch of the ball game is low to Eric Ibar, who is mired in an 8-for-40 slump right now. Ibar is hitting .253 this year, 1 for 5 in the opener last night. And he looks at a strike. Up at the right hand goes Gary Cederstrom. 1-1 on Ibar. Here's Bonderman's 1-1 pitch. It's a bunt, and a pretty good one. It gets by Jeremy, and there is no chance to get Ibar. Leadoff man is on for the Angels.
Sounded like Ibar broke his bat on that bunt. Perfectly placed bunt. You talked about the fact that he's struggling a little bit as far as getting base hits. So with that kind of speed, why not bunt towards second base, which allows him to beat the ball out? That's a perfectly placed bunt by Ibar.
And there was nobody better in the major leagues last year at that than Ibar. He led the majors with 18 bunt hits.
When you have that type of weapon, you shouldn't have long slumps.
Here's Howie Kendrick batting in the 2 slot tonight. He was hitting 7th last night.
No doubt this Angels team will come out this afternoon on a mission. I know Mike Scioscia was not happy with the way that his club played yesterday. 3 errors, and they just did not look good.
Kendrick in that game was 0 for 4. He did have an RBI. Torrey Hunter is getting the day off today for Los Angeles. The 0-1. 67 degrees our game time temperature under cloudy skies here as the Tigers and Angels continue on this 3-game trip, or 3-game series I should say. The Tigers have a trip coming up after this series is done. And a long road trip just starting for the Angels. Throw back, and Ibar, who has swiped 2 this year in 4 tries, gets back in easily.
This is what I was talking about in the pitching profile on Bonderman first time through. He has no problem with the opposing team, but the second and third times through the batting order, there needs to be some adjustments on Bonderman's side here today.
The runner goes on 1-1, swing and a miss. Laird's throw is on the money and in time for the out. Ibar is cut down as Gerald Laird threw a BB to second base.
A couple of weeks ago, Jim Leland talked to his pitchers about giving the catchers more time to throw, and they have been getting lots of time to throw. Ibar has good speed. Gerald Laird with a very strong, accurate throw, and a very nice tag by Sizemore, just dropping the glove on the sliding Ibar.
And that seemed to be the issue that Leland had in that start that Jeremy made against Seattle. How they were just kind of running on him all day. Swing and a miss.
Let's take one more look at the accurate throw by Laird. And really the accuracy is nothing new. Since 2006, he's thrown out about 36% of the would-be base stealers, which is first or second in the American League. But the key to that is where you take the throw from the middle infielders. Nice job by Sizemore.
Here comes Bobby Abreu with 2 outs. He has made a living off Bonderman. 9 for 17 career against him. That is a .529 average. Strike 1. Well, it's amazing, isn't it, how the entire look of an inning can change just by throwing a runner out against these guys, because the Angels, as we know, love to run.
Absolutely.
Now with the bases empty, you face Abreu. The 0-1 pitch.
I thought the Tigers kind of benefited there in the first inning by Kendrick batting second opposed to Abreu batting second, because usually it's tougher for a catcher to see that base runner running because you're blocked by the guy in the batter's box, and they may have not gotten Ibar. So a little benefit here early by Abreu batting third and not second today.
Right to the center fielder Jackson, who comes on to make the play, and that's all for the Angels. No runs, a hit, nobody left. Here comes the bottom of the first. And the Tigers starting 9 looks like this. It features Jackson, Damon, and Ordonez at the top. Miguel Cabrera batting cleanup, followed by Inge and Rayburn. And then your bottom 3 features Laird, Sizemore, and Adam Everett. And Austin Jackson had quite a night last night.
He sure did. First couple of hits he got in the ball game came the infield variety. And then he started staying back a little bit longer, shooting the ball up the middle and the opposite way. When the day was done, Jackson had 5 knocks in his back pocket.
What a night for the center fielder. And Jackson, as a result, comes in batting .364. Scott Kazmir delivers a strike on Jackson. 0-1. Austin now has reached base in 18 consecutive games for the Tigers. 1 ball, 1 strike on the leadoff man. Lights are on here at the ballpark. Cloudy, overcast day. The 1-1 pitch. A little bit outside. 2-1. Jackson now is in a stretch of 9 for his last 13, and I guess a 5-hit game will do that for you.
He's locked in.
Here's Kazmir's 2-1. 2-2 on Austin.
I used to talk to Tony Gwynn a lot when I was broadcasting games for Arizona. One of the things that Tony would always say is that good hitters get locked in a couple of times during the course of the year when you have stretches like 9 for 13, 15 for 20, those types of stretches. Of course, Tony Gwynn, he got locked in about 4 times a year.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's probably more than 2 for him. The 2-2 is on the ground, back up the middle. How about that? Another base hit for Austin Jackson.
This young man is sizzling hot.
Well, the Bernstein Advantage brings you the scouting report on Scott Kazmir. Get the Bernstein Advantage. We go to bat for you.
Kazmir's got some quality stuff. He's got a fastball in the low 90s with some tail action to it away from the right-handers. Also a very good changeup. He is still making some adjustments as we wind up trying to get to that slider that he had a couple of years ago. And this is his first full season in a Halos uniform after coming over from the Tampa Bay Rays last August.
Here's Johnny Damon. Driven to right field, on a line. Here comes Abreu, and it's going to drop. Base hit. Jackson will hold at second, and that Tigers offense, which was killing the baseball in the month of April, has started May on a good note.
This 1-2 punch that the Tigers have been running at the opponents this year has been lethal. It's been Jackson that's been getting on, and it's been Damon that's been setting the table. And not only setting the table is Damon, but he'll drive in a run if that runner's in scoring position. What a nice start both of the new Tigers have gotten off to.
First and second, nobody out. Setting the table for the big boys now as DH Maglio Ordonez settles in. Ordonez 0 for 2 before leaving last night's ball game. And he fouls it away. Did some tests on Maglio after the game last night. He was complaining of a pain in his side or his stomach, and it came up clean. So Cleveland took him out of the game today in terms of playing defense. He's the DH. Kazmir in some early trouble in this one. And it's whistled foul, back out of play. Just the second time this year Ordonez has been used as the designated hitter, and Jim Leyland likes to kind of sprinkle that around, give some of his veterans a day off, so to speak, by using them as a DH.
Kazmir, has thrown all hard stuff. He has a really good changeup. We have not seen the changeup yet. Every pitch he's thrown has been a fastball anywhere from 90 to 92.
That is in the air to shallow center field. Kendrick is back and one away.
Let's check out the rest of the Halos defensively behind Kazmir this afternoon. Mike Scioscia's defensively reads Rivera, Willits, Abreu in right, Wood, Ibar, Kendrick, Morales round out the infield, and Napoli is back behind the plate. How about that? 3 errors last night. They only committed 3 in their previous 11 games before that.
So here is Cabrera. The sun is trying to peek through here today. Another nice crowd for Saturday afternoon here in the Motor City. Early scoring chance for the Tigers, and Cabrera takes a strike. Miguel 3 for 5 in the ball game last night, and hitting a cool .483 with men in scoring position.
And Howie Kendrick is right in the back pocket of Austin Jackson at second base, not giving him too big a lead there. But you really give up that hole on the right side where Cabby gets lots of base hits. He's got tremendous power, does Cabrera. We know that, but he'll also take the base hit in that direction. He's done that on several occasions this year.
That's the other way, but just foul. It almost picked up some chalk down there. Well, how about those April numbers for Miguel Cabrera?
Well, we could be possibly talking about Player of the Month next couple of days when those awards come out. We know Jackson will be Rookie of the Month.
Robinson Cano had a big month. In fact, he hit 400 in April, so he'll be in the running for that. Ball down low, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Or as John Sterling, their announcer, likes to say, Robbie Cano, what don't you know?
And Cano is playing like a power hitter this year. 7 home runs, hitting in the middle of their order.
Pretty good. 1 and 2. The 33 hits for Cabrera is 3rd in the American League. Two balls, 2 strikes. Early scoring opportunity here for the Tigers. Back-to-back singles by Jackson and Damon started the frame. Checked it.
Close.
Yes, he held up. And Hickox down there at first base said he did not go. That was close.
This is the look that Hickox has got. And because he's got that look, and so do we, it's a good call. Nice camera position today.
So it's 3-2. Do you start the runners here?
Oh, you can do it with Cabrera. Yeah, Cabrera didn't strike out all that often, although he has struck out a few times in this series and even in Minnesota. But Cabrera is one of those guys that Jim's not afraid to start the base runners. Stay out of double play. But we'll see what Jim wants to do, how he wants to play it.
There they go. And there is ball 4. And so Cabrera is aboard, and that will load them up. First walk for Kazmir, a bases loaded situation now for Brandon Inge. And the Tigers trying to get Jeremy Vonderman some early offense.
Well, Brandon shouldn't get greedy here against Kazmir for the most part, with the exception of Cabrera. The fastballs that Kazmir has been throwing in this inning have been down and away to the right-handed batters. So if you're Brandon, you need to be thinking along those lines and don't get greedy. Take the fly ball to center field. That will get your team on the board.
Ball outside. Well, Kazmir's had pretty good numbers against Brandon.
Yep. Nice time to improve on those numbers if you're Brandon.
Lifted foul back out of play. 1-1. Tigers, of course, had that big 8-run fourth inning in the ball game last night. Grand slam in that game by Bosch. Inge has had 5 grand slams in his career. There's Brennan getting the afternoon off. Outside. 2-1. Kazmir laboring already here in the first inning. Fouled straight back. Make it 2-2 on Brandon Inge. Kazmir went 5 2/3 in his first start against the Tigers back on the 20th of April. Gave up 2 runs through 99 pitches in that game. Trying to wiggle out of a jam here today. Driven deep and way foul down the left field line.
Here's a situation where Cabrera needs to get a real big secondary lead just in case there's a ground ball. He could put some pressure on Ibar or Kendrick to prevent them from turning it over. He's got to be aggressive here.
2-2 the count stays. Kazmir, 26 years old, out of Houston, Texas. Picked up by the Angels last year in a trade. Part of a very deep rotation for the Angels this year. Again, the 2-2. Driven in the air. High to center field. Willits going back. This will get a run in. Jackson will tag and score. And the throw will come back into second base.
Outstanding at bat by Brandon. You could visibly see every swing that Brandon took. That's all he was trying to do was loft something deep enough into the outfield to get the RBI.
So the Tigers lead 1-0, and for Brandon Inge, 15 RBIs on the year. That'll leave runners at the corners for Ryan Rayburn. Rayburn getting the start in right field today. Jim Leland inserting him in the lineup. Ryan batting .222. Strike one from Kazmir. Rayburn had that big game, the final game of the road trip in Texas. On the homestand, though, he is 1 for 6. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Oh, by the way, this game is available in crystal clear high definition on Fox Sports Detroit HD, sponsored by Comcast. And the sun is doing its best to peek through the clouds today to make it a nice afternoon.
Well, you told the peeps to come down. You said there'd be a few flurries in the morning, but it would break a little later.
And that's exactly what's happening.
You gave them the weather report last night.
Actually, I was just repeating the weather report that you initially gave. That way, if we were wrong, I could blame you.
Oh, look at you.
But the skies are clearing up.
You're a beauty.
Blue sky, that's pretty good. Raining all morning here. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Rayburn goes down, and Kazmir, all told, pitches out of this jam, gives up the 1 run. Phone and internet. Back here at Comerica Park earlier today, very cloudy, overcast, had some rain this morning, but it's starting to clear up now. What a gorgeous ballpark this is.
Spectacular ballpark.
Well, Brandon Inge with a sacrifice fly has given the Tigers an early lead here, 1-0. Bonderman back to work as we go to the second. Hideki Matsui, Kenry Morales, and Juan Rivera. Matsui is the designated hitter today, and he is mired in a 2-for-17 skid. Pulls this one on the ground right to the first baseman Cabrera, and 1 pitch, 1 out. If memory serves, Bonderman was getting a lot of like 1 or 2 pitch outs in his last start early on.
Well, that's what you try to achieve when you're a contact pitcher, which exactly is what Bonderman is these days. You want to pitch to contact, but if you keep the ball down, as he's been able to do, he's going to get some ground balls like he just got right there. And the earlier the contact, the better.
He'd like another one here from Kenry Morales. Morales has been a prolific home run hitter since about the middle of last year. He has hit 6 this season. Batting .295, was 1 for 4 last night. There's a ground ball, but this one will find a hole right back up the middle into center field.
You know, Jeremy had a start against these Angels back on the 21st of April in Anaheim, and it got off to a shaky start. It didn't look good early in the ball game, but then he really settled in nicely with some really nice breaking balls. He had some depth down and away. He also froze some right-handed hitters with breaking balls that he threw right at them. So Bonderman settled in very nicely and allowed the team to come back and win that game in Anaheim.
Now he'll face Juan Rivera. The numbers in that start: 6 innings, struck out 5, And allowed the 3 runs. Rivera, the left fielder, is hitting .247. Ball 1. This is an Angels team that came in batting .262 in the American League, about middle of the pack. Right back up the middle. The shortstop, Everett, tags the bag 1, and there's the double play. A 6-pitch inning for Jeremy Bonderman, thanks to a 6-3 double play. We'll go to the bottom of the 2nd here at Comerica. Participating Arby's location tomorrow. Get a free small order of curly fries. Of course, you can get a box score at foxsportsdetroit.com. We'll see if the Tigers hit 3 homers in the ball game today. Here's Gerald Laird to lead it off. It'll be Laird followed by Sizemore and then Adam Everett. 7, 8, 9 in the lineup. Tigers ahead 1-0. Scott Kazmir back to the hill. Laird got on the board with his first home run of the season last night. In fact, quite a few Tigers did. Gerald with 3 RBIs. He has now hit safely in each of his last 4 games. Kazmir missing again, 2-1.
He got himself a hanging breaking ball from Joel Pinheiro, who could not get the ball down in last night's game. And G Money got in front of it and hit it out of here.
2-2. And Kazmir's 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strikeout for Kazmir, who is known to do that a time or 2 in his career. He's been a very good strikeout pitcher. That'll bring up Scott Sizemore. Sizemore swings at the first pitch 27% of the time.
It's about average.
Not that time. It was way outside.
Which means he's not afraid to take a strike.
There's the 1-0. 2 balls, no strikes.
Apparently, Kazmir not feeling all that comfortable with the slider. That's what we heard coming in, is the fact that he has just not really in the last couple of years been able to recapture that slider, which allowed him to lead the American League in strikeouts in 2007. He had 239 strikeouts that year. His pitching
led the American League.
Yep. His pitching coach at that time was the current pitching coach of the Angels, Mike Butcher.
Swung on and missed, 2-2.
Which is one of the reasons why they acquired Kazmir, hoping to recapture some of the magic that those two had back in '07 when they were both with the Tampa Bay Devil Rays at that time.
There's the 2-2 offering. Down he goes, and the strikeouts starting to pile up now for Kazmir, his third.
Here's some of the adjustments that they've been making with him. Take a look at his hands in his windup. A couple of starts ago, right there, freezing. You can see the hand position here of Kazmir not going very high, but then you take a look over on this side, and he's pulling them back over his head. And the reason that they've gone to this particular windup, going back over the head again, is they feel like that's going to get him to a nice balance spot, which gives him a better arm angle to get to that slider that we just watched right there.
Adam Everett is the batter with 2 outs.
It's all about adjustments. We talked about Porcello in last night's game, needing to make some adjustments very early in spring. And he did okay. He got off to a little bit of a rocky start, but I think he settled in pretty good.
I agree. I think in the end, I mean, there were some steps taken by Rick that he had to feel pretty good about. Sometimes you go beyond the numbers. The 2-0 is outside, 3-0 on the number 9 hitter, Adam Everett.
Yeah, but just by watching Kazmir here through the first couple of innings, not throwing many sliders, apparently not feeling all that comfortable with that pitch, and that's the reason why left-handers have absolutely clobbered him this year. He needs that slider.
Missed on 4 straight pitches to walk Everett. Second base on balls for Kazmir. Going to keep the inning going for the red-hot Austin Jackson.
Here's Mike Butcher watching his protege very closely. He's done nice work as the Angels pitching coach. In the 3 years that he has been there, no other staff has compiled more wins than the Angels starting pitchers.
Jackson takes a ball inside, 1-0. 5 for 5 last night. A base hit back in the first inning here today. And Jackson now 10 for his last 14.
One of the reasons why Jackson's been able to do so much damage here lately is the fact that he's always hitting in some predictable fastball counts. He's been getting himself in some friendly hitting counts, and with that new leg kick that he has that Lloyd McClendon gave him back in spring training, when he gets that front foot down, he's got some lethal hand speed coming through the hitting zone.
Before the game today, the Tigers were putting on clinics for the fans here early this afternoon, and one of the clinics was hitting, and Lloyd McClendon was out there with Austin Jackson, and he introduced Austin and said he was 5 for 5 last night. He'll have another 5-hit day today.
Nothing like a little pressure.
Which put just a ton of pressure on Jackson. Ball outside.
I do know this much. They had Porcello out, Sizemore was out, Avila was out, all the young kids demonstrating with the respective coaches at that position, and Austin Jackson was getting some loud applauses.
That he was, and deservedly so. There goes the runner. Here comes the throw from Napoli, on target, not in time. Everett with his first stolen base.
When you steal against a left-hander, and especially a guy with a good move, you have to go on first movement. As soon as they move anything, you have to take off, and that's exactly what Adam was able to do there. And that's the reason why he was safe, just by a hair. Napoli not known for his glove work nor his throwing arm.
And here's one of those favorable hitters counts that you were talking about. Now 3-1 on Jackson.
There's the proof on Napoli. This is where Jackson will take the ball up the middle or the other way. He doesn't usually get greedy in these counts, which is why he's been able to not only have a tremendous on-base percentage, but his batting average is .370. He's got a boatload of hits too. He will hit the ball the opposite way.
One of the things Lloyd was saying as they were doing that clinic before the game today was that it all starts with the base, the foundation. When you talk about hitting. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Struck him out, and that's 4 now for Kazmir. So they finally get Austin Jackson out. He is human. It is a 1-0 score as we go to the top of the 3rd. And go Tigers go. A lot of good young fans here at the ballpark today. Big crowd. Of course, we talked about the clinics they had before the game today, so the youngsters enjoyed that. Picked up a tip or two. Mike Napoli will lead it off as we go to the 3rd. Napoli, Wood, and Willits. Bottom 3 in Mike Scioscia's lineup. Bonderman needed just 6 pitches with the help of a double play back in the 2nd. Napoli showing bunt. He had a triple in the ball game last night, which turned out to be his first extra base hit of the season. The 1-0. Well, the Angels are fortunate that they are so deep in the catching department. Mike Scioscia was talking to him before the game today with all the injuries they've had. Mathis is out. Wilson is on the DL. Napoli has taken over the full-time duties. There's a strike call. And they also have a kid at AAA who was a recent #1 pick, Hank Conger, who is knocking on the big league door. So they've had a lot of guys come through and a lot of depth at that position.
Well, once they get to the big leagues, they've got a great teacher in Scioscia. He was a fierce competitor and an outstanding catcher.
Ripped down the left field line. That's going to be extra bases as Damon runs it down to the corner. 2nd extra base hit of the year now for Napoli. It's a leadoff double.
And Bonderman did a very nice job of getting ahead of Napoli with a nice 2-seam fastball at the bottom of the strike zone. He froze him with a breaking ball, but then he came back with a fastball at 92 miles an hour. But when Bonderman's in that 92-mile-per-hour range, the fastball straightens out. And this one straightens out and is right down the middle, and that allows Napoli to catch up with it and rifle it into that left field corner. That replay courtesy of Lincoln Mercury.
Here's Brandon Wood. Wood struck out a couple of times in the ball game last night, was 0 for 4, and now batting 176.
Their bottom 3 hitters, Napoli, Wood, Willits, all still on the interstate.
167, 176, 167. 1 ball, 1 strike. Wood hit 22 home runs in AAA last year.
Wood's got a job to do here. Nobody out. Runner on 2nd. He's got to move Napoli over to 3rd base. He's got to concentrate on doing that.
Wave and a miss. 1-2.
And whatever it takes for him to accomplish that, that's what Mike Scioscia would like to see. Whether you choke up, whether you spread out.
Right back on the line to Bonderman. They will get a double play. Johnny on the spot was Jeremy Bonderman, and that turned out to be fortunate.
It's a nice job by Wood trying to get the job done. He was trying to go that way, but he hit the ball right back at Bondo, and Bondo with some nice reflexes there.
Second double play for the Tigers today. Here's Reggie Willits. Willis giving Hunter a day off today. Reggie, switch hitting outfielder with some speed. He can play all three outfield positions. He's got the old time look. He's got some baggy pants going. He's got the high socks.
That he does.
The 1-0. Willis is not a guy that has a whole lot of power. He has the longest active homerless streak in the game. 302 straight games without going deep. His game is all about speed. There's a strike. 2-1. Make it 2 balls, 2 strikes on the number 9 hitter for the Angels. Tigers got a run in the first and a sacrifice fly by Brandon Ames. It has held up so far for Bonderman. And a drive into right field, hit well. This one is going toward the corner. Rayburn getting back there, and that is a foul ball. Did he make the catch? He caught it. Ryan Rayburn with the catch in the corner. It can still be an out if it's a foul ball. He probably felt the wall coming up on him pretty good, and a basket catch by Rayburn. Nicely done. Here's Johnny Damon. Ball one outside to Damon. So Kazmir, who has struck out 4, has also walked 2. The 1-0 pitch. I was talking to Johnny the other day. His 15-game hitting streak came to an end 2 nights ago. And his longest was 29 games when he was with Boston. And he had something interesting to say about hitting streaks. Guys that have hitting streaks that get into the 20s, you know, you start to feel the pressure a little bit to get a hit in your first couple of at-bats, because if you don't, you might be called on to bunt late or sacrifice fly or things of that nature. So you start to expand the strike zone a little bit, and that can be detrimental. Swing and a miss, 2-2. And he was saying, when I had that 29-gamer in Boston, Dom DiMaggio had a 34-gamer, which was the Boston record, and he was chasing that, and he said people reminded me of it every day, and there's that pressure that goes with that as well. A little looper on a line that is hit right to the third baseman, one gone. Right now we check in with Mickey York. We go back to the studio, an update of the Yankees and White Sox. Mickey? Very accurately put there, Mick.
Javier Vasquez continues to struggle in a Yankees uniform. You get him out of a Yankees uniform and he's got no-hit stuff, but the second tour of duty in New York, struggling again.
I heard Brian Cashman in an interview talking about Vasquez, saying that his stuff just has not been there this year. It hasn't been as crisp as it has been in the past.
He was one of the best pitchers in the National League last year, pitching for the Atlanta Braves, and they made a deal for him, and they thought they could slot him in that number 5 spot in the rotation, and he could just relax in behind Pettit and CC and Burnett and Hughes, and he just can't figure it out in the Bronx.
1-2 on Ordonez. Maglio with a pop-up. Back in the first, 0 for 1. Two balls, 2 strikes.
If you're the Tigers and you're the right-handed batters, you pretty much realize today that the Kazmir has been just a 2-pitch pitcher. That's fastballs away and mostly changeups away. And that's a big difference. If you don't have to think about the slider, that pitch coming down and in against you, you can just kind of dive all over the plate all afternoon, unless he straightens you up on occasion with a fastball inside.
And missed way outside, a walk. That's 3 in the game now for Kazmir.
Speaking of those Yankees, don't miss them. They come to Comerica Park May 10th through the 13th. It's their only visit to Comerica Park this year. Tickets are available at 866-66-TIGER or log on to tigers.com. A couple of former Tigers will be traveling with the Yankees at that time. Curtis Granderson and Marcus Thames.
Meanwhile, former Yankees Damon and Jackson wearing the Old English D these days. Cabrera, well, he drew a base on balls back in the first.
It kind of looks like Kazmir doesn't want a whole lot to do with Cabrera today. And at 344, 5 and 25 stakes driven in already. Good reason for that.
Kazmir now has had 10 walks in a little over 17 innings this year.
He's out of sync.
Yeah, and that's probably the best way to put it, especially that last pitch that he threw to Maglio. It just seemed out of sync. And the Angels feel they have a very deep rotation, but it's only as deep as how well you're performing. And if some guys are not performing, then your depth is certainly tested. 59 pitches right now. This will be the 60th for Kazmir, and we're only in the third. Cabrera's had 10 doubles in his last 15 games. Tigers have been a good double hitting team in the early going this year. The 2-1. 2-2 on Miguel.
And the previous pitch, he kind of knocked Cabrera off the plate. Then he comes back with a well-located 92-mile-per-hour fastball. Although up, it was on the outer edge, and it was a pitch that Cabrera could do no damage with.
Tapper right back up the middle. Kendrick tags the bag, loses the ball. They'll still record the out.
Howie got ahead of himself here on the exchange. He had plenty of time with Cabrera running. but just kind of mishandled the ball. Hurt footsteps, possibly. Maglio coming in and was not able to complete the double play.
Here's Brandon Inge. It is Inge today that is batting behind Cabrera in the 5 slot. Jim Leyland has gone obviously with Carlos Guillen when he was not injured, and Brennan Bosch has seen a lot of playing time in the 5 spot. This is just the 3rd time this year that Inge is hitting in the 5th spot. And Casimir throws a strike 0-2. One and 2 on Brandon. Runner goes. The throw hops in and safe at second base is Cabrera.
That's what happens when you forget about the base runner. Cabrera's already taken off a couple of times this year. For this very reason and this reason alone, Casimir forgets about him. He gets a huge jump, which means Napoli has no chance to throw him out.
First stolen base of the year for Miguel. Let's see if Inge now can come up with a 2-out hit to knock him home. Two-two pitch. In the air, left side of the infield. Eric Ibar is under it, and that is that for Detroit. They get a walk, they leave a man, 3 in the books. He's the last Tiger to hit a grand slam for his first career home run. We'll even give you the year. Well, they're feeling generous today.
That they are.
A hint, 2003. There's Brennan Bosch. He did it last night. So who is the last Tiger before Bosch? Or most recent Tiger? To do it? And that's your question. It's a pretty good question today, and good luck. Just think back to that 03 season. So it's not like we're going back to 1893 or anything. It's doable today. 4th inning, top of the order coming up. It'll be Eric Ibar, Howie Kendrick, and Bobby Abreu. Bonderman has been helped out by a couple of double plays. In fact, one he started on a line drive last inning. Ibar has a bunt single. Later was caught stealing. Jeremy's pitch count in great shape. Here in the early going. He looked like he went around, and he did. 0-2.
And Bonderman has admitted that he is just finally starting to find the good separation with this pitch right here, slider. Doesn't throw it as hard as he used to, but he's found a little bit more break with the pitch, which decreases the velocity about 10 miles from his fastball at 92, which is where you want to be. You want to be about 10 miles in between your breaking stuff and your fastball. And it's been an adjustment for Bondo.
Leland was talking about that before the game, and he says, you know, all pitchers at some point in their career, even those that don't suffer injuries like Jeremy has, have to make some adjustments. Even the great Jack Morris made an adjustment by adding the split finger pitch.
Right, right.
So, I mean, that's all part of the game after a while.
You see mostly left-handers that go from hard throwers to kind of touch and feel guys because they add the deception. They start dropping down to creative arm slots and different things like that. You don't see many right-handers do that, but every now and then you just have to learn how to add and subtract with your fastball and use what you're given at that point in time. And Bonderman is starting to find more of a comfort zone.
1-2 on Ibar. Last offseason, the Angels were in some of the trade talks for Roy Halladay. They were one of the teams certainly interested. One of the holdups, though, I think from the Angels' end was that the name Eric Ibar kept coming up, and the Angels weren't crazy about giving him up. Bouncer hit to the first baseman. This one will stay fair. Bonderman covers for the out.
Hey, Tigers fans who are currently serving in the U.S. Armed Forces at home and abroad can receive a free DVD of this season's home opener telecast against the Indians. It's a project titled Operation Opening Day. And for details, visit tigers.com/Operation Opening Day. Salute to the troops.
Always a good thing. One out. Here's Howie Kendrick. Slice to center field, and that's going to drop beyond the reach of Sizemore and in front of Jackson. 1 on, 1 out. It's going to bring up Bobby Abreu. Tying run on now for the Angels, who have their 4th hit of the game. Abreu fly to center field, ending the 1st inning. He threw it away. Up is Kendrick. He'll get to second base.
That'll be an error on Cabrera.
Sounded like it hit his glove, didn't it?
Yeah, probably trying to work too quickly over there with the glove, trying to apply the tag to Kendrick, and just whiffed on the ball.
Yep. Good call. First Tigers error of the game. E3 is the official call. Tying run in scoring position.
As good as Abreu has been in his career, this year not doing all that well with runners in scoring position. These numbers are not Bobby Abreu like, and they won't stay there all year. It's a proven 300 hitter, a guy that drives the ball all over the ballpark. Those guys are tough to keep down all season long as far as the amounts of runs they drive in.
Mickey Hatcher, their hitting coach. Strike call there on Abreu, and he didn't like it. Mickey Hatcher, their hitting coach, was talking about Abreu and his preparation. And he says that every day before every game, Abreu takes a lot of soft toss in the cage, and what he tries to do is just get his wrists ready to hit the ball the other way. A lot of muscle memory. And when you look at his numbers, you know, he just has piled up some tremendous numbers over the years. Of course, he's in the lineup just about every day, every year too. That's outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. But even little things like soft toss,
oh yeah,
even at this level, can be so valuable.
Take as many swings as you can. And that's how you develop yourself into being a good hitter. Whether it's soft toss, whether it's off of a batting tee, And if you want to be a big league player, you've got to take tons and tons and tons of swings. That's what all these guys have done since Little League.
Three and two on Abreu. Hideki Matsui waiting on deck. Bonderman has a 1-run lead, but some trouble here in the fourth. Three-two pitch. Driven down the right field line, and that ball is caught and then dropped by Rayburn. They're going to hold the runner at third base, Kendrick. Now he's going to come home as the throw gets through, and he will score.
Sloppy, sloppy, sloppy. It's a gift run there for the Angels. First the error by Cabrera. And then Rayburn leaves his feet in the outfield, and it looks like he had the ball in his glove, and then the ball just trickles away. He comes up, he fires to the cutoff man, and somehow the ball gets away, and Kendrick is able to scamper on home. That's a gift run for the Angels today.
It sure is, because Kendrick had stopped at third base, not knowing whether or not that ball would be caught. So we're tied at 1, and here's Matsui. Driven high in the air toward left field. Coming over toward the line is Damon. And back out of play.
If you're Bondo, you have to pay close attention to Abreu at first. Not too much attention, but just enough to let him know that you're thinking about him. He has had 11 straight steals of 20 or more bases. Has Abreu. Good base runner.
Oh, 0-1 on Matsui, who's 0 for 1 with the ground out. One ball, one strike. Matsui, a 9-time All-Star over in Japan, even before he came to the States. He's a world champion here with the New York Yankees. Outside, 2-1. There goes the runner, and it's grounded foul.
I was thinking that Abreu would run, and then I started to think about it, partner, as he stayed over there for the first 3 pitches, as to if he does run and he's successful stealing the base and they were able to get Matsui out, that opens up a parking spot for Morales. I mean, you can pretty much take the bat out of Morales' hands here if you wanted to. So I thought maybe he would run, and then I'm thinking to myself, he's not going to vacate that position.
Well, and when you talk about Morales, he is the reigning player of the week in the American League. The 2-2 is swung on and missed.
I mean, this is what I was talking. Yeah, I mean, because if he steals that base, now he's at second. And that means if you're Jim, more than likely you would not pitch to Morales here, who's been one of their better hitters this year. It's a nice breaking ball here. Bonderman's thrown some split-fingered fastballs today, but they've kind of stayed up in the strike zone. Therefore, he goes back to what he knows best, and that's the slide piece. And he got the strikeout there of Hideki Matsui, who's tough to strike out.
By the way, the scoring on that play, and that ball hit by Abreu, charged Rayburn with an error and also charged Cabrera with an error. So that's 3 errors for the Tigers, all in this inning, and 2 of them to Cabrera. Morales now with 2 outs. Last night it was the Angels that committed 3 errors in the game. Morales had a single in the second. He and Matsui are the only Angels this year that have played every game so far. Angels came in at 500, 12-12. The Tigers at 14-10. And Detroit a game and a half back of Minnesota. The 2-0. 2-1.
Kendry Morales was in that MVP running last year. There were some other really nice players and some. You knew the award was going to go to Mauer, but Cabrera was in the running. Of course, Morneau was as well until he got injured. But Morales out west was a guy that a lot of people weren't talking about, but he had a tremendous rookie season.
That's why 34 home runs. He finished 5th in that voting. Runner going. Ball high. Throw down to second in time for the out. Laird cuts down another runner, but the Angels tie it up. Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by your neighborhood Spartan store. For locations, visit turntospartan.com. And by Jaguar. Visit your local Jaguar dealer to experience the 2011 Jaguar XJ. Back here in the Motor City, the sun trying to burn away the clouds as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. It'll be Ryan Rayburn leading it off, Gerald Laird, and then Scott Sizemore against Kazmir. Rayburn lines one down the left field line. That'll drop in. Base hit, maybe more. Let's see. Rivera cuts it off. Rayburn trying for 2. The throw not in time. Another double for the Tigers.
Well, doubles are made out of the batter's box, and when Rayburn hits the baseball, he's thinking 2 right away. Especially knowing that Rivera was going to have to go over toward that left field line to make this play. And when you see the outfielder having to go that far to his right, it's going to be tough for him to reach back and throw you out, and Rayburn took advantage of that fact.
Go ahead run now is in scoring position for Gerald Laird. They're tied in the corners against Laird, and he cuts and misses. Just keep piling up those doubles. 67 now. Top total in the league.
What'd you say last night? Lloyd getting some sleep these days?
Yeah, a lot of sleep. No problem.
Is he snoring?
No, that's a little bit too personal. I have no idea. You'll have to ask him.
You know, when you sleep good, you snore sometimes.
Yes, you do.
I've been told that.
0-2, as have I. Actually.
Many, many times. Been threatened, as a matter of fact.
Dispatch you to another room?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Laird struck out his first time up.
Not in my house.
You still rule the roost, right?
You know better than that.
That double the third Tigers hit of the game.
Well, G Money's got a job to do too. Even though he's got 2 strikes on him, he'd love to try to get Rayburn over to third or either drive him in. It looks like it's going to be a close game here today between these Angels. Yesterday's game, oh, there you go.
Struck him out looking.
Yesterday's game was a little uncharacteristic of the way these two teams have really played the last couple of years. All the games usually against the Angels are very, very close games. I want to correct something I was saying about first baseman Kendry Morales last half inning when I was talking about the lofty numbers that he put up and the fact that he was in the MVP running. I said his rookie season, but he's been in the big leagues up and down the last couple of years. It was his first full season in the big leagues.
Yeah, just no rookie status, that's all. But outstanding numbers nonetheless for the Cuban native. Here's Sizemore. Tigers have gotten a leadoff double here in the 4th. Tigers just have been so good at situational baseball this year, and a great example is, the leadoff double, getting the guy to third and then scoring him. But Laird took a call at third, and so now it's Sizemore with 1 out and a man at second. There's a strike. 1-2. Kazmir already now with 5 strikeouts. Kazmir has had 10 or more strikeouts in a game 17 times in his career.
He's still very young, but when he left the Tampa Bay Rays last August to join the Angels organization, he left their career leader in just about every pitching category.
Line drive, foul.
Throwing more sliders here in this inning. He must be feeling a little bit better about that pitch. He hung one to Rayburn, and Rayburn hit the double down the left field line, but he threw Laird a slider, and then he comes back here and throws a slider as well. So he's starting to feel a little bit more comfortable with that slider, although it's hanging. Actually, that was a change up there.
2-2.
Sometimes it's tough to tell until you see the grip.
Career numbers on Kazmir.
But we just want to make sure we get it right.
Well, sometimes pitches will act the same way. 2 separate pitches will do the same thing. That's fouled away.
There's that grip once again. You can see it. The changeup is thrown deep in the hand of the right-hander or the left-hander, and you really just throw it the same way you throw your fastball, but where you're holding the ball, the velocity is a lot less.
Way outside. 3-2. Kazmir was only 23 years old when he led the American League in strikeouts. In 2007, became the youngest AL strikeout champ since the guy that has a familiar name in these parts and with the Angels as well, Frank Tanana. That was back in '75.
Tampa was able to steal Kazmir from the New York Mets, where he was a former #1 draft pick.
And another walk. Sizemore is on.
They pitched around Sizemore to get to Adam. Hey fans, spend your Sunday at Comerica Park when the Tigers face the Angels tomorrow at 1:05. All kids 14 and under receive a Magdalene Ordonez poster. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or log on to tigers.com.
Sharp looking poster. Did you ever have any posters on your wall when you were a kid?
No. You know, I did have one poster I remember. I used to really like Wes Unseld.
Really?
Yeah. I was a huge Wes Unseld fan. I mean, I used to write his name on the back of my All-Star Converse. I had some white Converse Chuck Taylors. I used to write Unseld on the back of it. It had a little strip here. I used to write his name back there. I loved Wes Unseld. Absolutely.
He was a good player. Great player. That'll bring up Adam Everett. Personally, my walls were adorned with Farrah Fawcett.
Like the Allen boys.
I'm serious, too. Ball high, 1-0. Everett had a walk, stole a base back in the second. 1-1 game. Seems like Kazmir has been in and out of trouble all day long, but he's given up just the 1 run. He's walked 4 in the game to go with his 5 strikeouts. Right back to the mound, knocked down by Kazmir. It'll roll to Kendrick, and out at first base is Everett.
Nice, strong throwing arm there from Kendrick. I thought the way that play was developing, because Kazmir was able to knock it down, that that he was going to get an infield single, Everett. But look at the arm whippage here to first base by Kendrick. He really fired that ball over there. And if he doesn't fire it, they don't get him.
That's a new term you've broken out now, whippage. Arm whippage.
Yeah.
Barely got it. So now here's Jackson. Austin takes a strike on the outer edge, 0-1. Jackson 1 for 2, singled and scored the Tigers run in the first. .366 average. Tigers looking for a huge 2-out hit here. And it's on the ground with a shortstop. Ibar will gobble it up, and that is that for Detroit. So Kazmir wiggles out of another jam. 4 in the books.
Yes, indeed.
Back in 03. And there it was. That was his only home run as a Tiger.
Cody's still in the big leagues down in Florida.
He's doing well.
He's carved out a nice little career for himself. He's a good hitter. Speaking of Cliff Lee, too, he made his debut for the Seattle Mariners last night and looked awfully good. I think he punched out 8.
He go 7 innings, I think. 7 or close to that.
Very efficient. It's a nice pickup for Seattle, and I'm glad we missed him the first time around, and if we're lucky, we'll miss him next month too.
Kendry Morales leads it off. It'll be Morales, Rivera, and Napoli facing Bonderman. And it's quickly 0-2.
Bonderman's got a good breaking ball today. The forkball, the split-fingered fastball, hasn't tumbled as much as he'd like to against these left-handers, but he's been able to neutralize some of them with the good slider today.
The 0-2. Ooh, a little bit off the plate. 1-2 on Morales.
Almost backdoored him with a breaking ball there. Good call. Good pitch. Bonderman was telling me the other day when I was asking him about his slider, and he was saying there was a time, and he gripped it very hard. He said, I used to just throw that thing up toward home plate, and it was just nasty. He said, I'd freeze right-handers. It would go down and into left-handers. Sometimes it would start at their heads and end up right at their belt buckles. He said he just threw it fearlessly when he was going good and healthy early in his career.
The 2-2. popped up foul. Back toward the seats. Well, I guess it takes time to kind of reinvent yourself and to travel down a different avenue and get outs in a different way. I mean, you can't expect results overnight, but I think we've seen a lot of signs this year that Bonderman is kind of making that crossover.
Yes, I would agree with that. He's done nice work.
2-2 pitch. Looks like he held up. They want the appeal anyway. He didn't go.
That's the one thing we've seen a lot of today, though, check swings, which is an indication of the stuff that the pitcher is featuring. You don't have to throw 95, but there is some deception there, and some of the Angels hitters have thought they've seen strikes, and then they check the swing, and some of them have been called strikes, and some have been called balls.
Right back through the box into center field. Bonderman threw his glove down, couldn't get it. Morales 2 for 2.
Bonderman's lucky that ball didn't hit him.
5 hits for the Angels. Tigers have had just 3 hits today, but Kazmir has been in trouble with 4 walks. Here's Rivera. Bonderman has had a couple of double plays already in this game, which has helped out. Tigers got a run in the first. Angels answered with 1 in the 4th. Strike called on the outer edge. 1-1 on Juan Rivera. Hit a career best 25 home runs last year. One and 2. Well, Bonderman's had some quick innings. First 2, actually the first 3 relatively quick, so a total of 60 to this point, which has put him in good shape.
Only 1 inning over the average. That was the last inning at 21, but usually, as a rule of thumb, you want to be anywhere from 14 to 16 pitches per inning.
Rolled foul again. Rivera hit into a double play back in the second. One of the 2 that Bonderman has had, and that has helped in keeping his pitch count down. Last month, Rivera hit the 100th home run of his career. Lifted foul down the right field line. By the way, here's a reminder, you can vote for the McDonald's Player of the Game. Text Tigers followed by a space in the player's uniform number to 37338. That's FSDET on your cell phone. And you can help select the Tigers Player of the Game today. The 1-2. Checked it. And he held up. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Rivera.
Rivera did a pretty nice job of laying off that 2-strike offering because it was located very well by Bonderman. He disguised that last pitch to look like a strike into the last 5 feet.
Grounded foul again, and this is turning into quite an at-bat here for Rivera. This will be the 8th pitch coming up in this at-bat for Bonderman. Leadoff single by Morales here in the 5th. And another foul ball. So Bonderman having trouble putting Rivera away here. Mike Napoli will be next. And Cabrera will run out of room on this one. Bonderman now starting to fatigue a little bit, so Laird walks out there to give him a little bit of a blow.
Bonderman has gone anywhere from 93 here to Rivera, all the way down to 82. And this is a perfect example of the new Bonderman, because back in the day, against a right-hander, 2 strikes against Bonderman, you could pretty much mail it in. It was over with that real good slider, but Rivera able to spoil a lot of these real good 2-strike pitches that Bonderman has featured in this at bat.
And another ground ball foul. A 10-pitch at bat to this point. Number 11 coming up. 2-2 on Juan Rivera. Driven high in the air to right center field. Jackson cruising over. And the runner retreats, so a lengthy battle finally won by Bonderman.
It's a nice move here by Gerald. Veteran move. Also, Rick Knapp going to go out as well to make sure Bonderman gets plenty of time to recover from that lengthy at bat to Rivera. A lot of times when you have that kind of a battle, you tire a little bit and you leave some pitches up for that next hitter, and you don't want to do that to Napoli here. He's got some power.
Well, as they talk it over on the mound, we remind you as soon as the game ends, our coverage continues with Tigers Live. You'll hear from the manager, Jim Leland, and the players. Plus, we'll break down the game and show you all of the highlights. Tigers Live from the Call Sam Studios immediately after the game right here on Fox Sports Detroit. Home plate umpire Gary Cedarstrom is out to break up the conversation. And now Bonderman will try and regroup, refocus now as Mike Napoli digs in.
Nice crowd here today, Comerica Park.
Well, the early rain did not scare away the good crowd. There's a strike call. I guess it's supposed to be the same situation tomorrow. Some rain early in the morning and clearing out. So don't let that bother you. Clouds starting to break up. 0-1 on Napoli. Napoli's had a double and a triple in this series. A 2-base hit to start things off in the third, but then the very next hitter, Wood, lined into a double play. Ball high, 2-1. So what at one point was a really good pitch count for Jeremy Bonderman, now he's over 71 pitches here in the 5th inning, courtesy of that lengthy battle he had with Rivera. And to this point, Bonderman has allowed just the 1 run.
Good pitch. Two and one. No breaking ball right at the belt buckle. Napoli sitting dead red and couldn't reload and pull the trigger on the breaking ball.
The 2-2. Right off the mask of Gerald Laird.
Ugh.
Tigers have managed only 3 hits in this game today. Meanwhile, the Angels have 5. There's a high fly ball, left center field, hit well. Jackson cruising back, Damon cruising back, and that ball is off the base of the wall. Looks like this will get a run in. Nope, it won't. They're going to hold the runner up at third base. Morales giving the stop sign, and a double for Mike Napoli, his second of the game. Third extra base hit of the series for Napoli. He's starting to come alive.
It's a nice job here by Jackson getting over. It looked like Damon was not going to make the play, but if you're the center fielder, you have to be moving in that direction. And because he was moving in that direction is one of the reasons why that they weren't able to score Morales here. Dino Ebel, you can see where he is right now. He is about 25 to 30 feet down the third baseline. And if you get that far down the third baseline as a third base coach, that gives you an opportunity to stop a base runner late. If you're closer to the bag and you want to send a guy home, sometimes you don't make the right decision. But by where he was, you can take a little bit longer to make your decision.
Well, Bonderman has one thing going for him right now. He's facing the 8 and 9 hitters with 2 men in scoring position. Brandon Wood is 0 for 1 and 0 for 5 in the series. Ball down low, 1 ball, 1 strike. It has been a struggle for Wood this year. Although he lined into a double play back in the third, hit the ball hard, and Mike Scioscia was saying the other day, it seems like when guys are in slumps, even when you hit the ball hard, it's not really a moral victory. And, you know, if you have a couple drop in, you feel like you're contributing. And that helps get your confidence back. And it's been a situation where Wood just has not been able to get on a roll, even when he hits the ball hard. The 1-1. Rolled toward third, foul. That one almost hit Morales. 1-2 on Brandon Wood. He had 3 separate stints with the Angels last year, up and down quite a few times. And with Sean Figgins heading to Seattle, Wood given the third base job. Line drive, base hit, left field. That'll score Morales. They'll stop Napoli at third, and Brandon Wood does indeed contribute with an RBI hit. Two-1 ball game.
Bonderman went with the right pitch here. He went with the slider. You can see Gerald Laird on the outside part of the plate, but you can see the location of the pitch here. It does not get down low enough, which allows Wood to reach out with those long arms and hit the ball rather sharply back to the pull field.
7 hits for the Angels. They lead 2-1. And now Reggie Willits. Willits flied out to right field in his first at bat. Line drive caught by the second baseman Sizemore. He timed it beautifully, a soft liner. 2 outs.
Like Willits, that ball right off the end of the bat, which caused Sizemore to pause momentarily before elevating and making the play.
Here's Ibar.
You got to be careful with a guy like Ibar, especially a guy that likes to bunt the baseball, even with 2 outs. Every now and then they will attempt to bunt for a base hit.
Ibar 1 for 2. Bunt single back in the first inning, was eventually caught trying to steal a base. Tigers have some activity in their bullpen now. Fouté is starting to warm up. Strike call. 0-2 on Eric Ibar. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. Ibar is out of there, and that is that. They get a run to take the lead, and you're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. The Angels have taken the lead, but the Angels left 2 men on in the top of this inning. So the Tigers now trying to strike right back. They will have Johnny Damon leading it off, then Maglio Ordonez and Miguel Cabrera. Damon 1 for 2, had a base hit back in the first inning. Strike called. Tigers have only 3 hits today. 2 singles and a double. Rayburn with the 2-base hit. Fouled straight back, 0-2.
And Damon has seen quite a bit of Kazmir the last few years, both playing in the same division, the American League East.
One and two. Two balls, 2 strikes. We're talking about Damon and his hit streak. He feels that 56 is probably on a table. He says it's too hard to get there. And I asked him, well, if there is somebody that could possibly do it, who would it be? And the first guy that he mentioned was Ichiro, because he doesn't walk too much. And it's driven in the air toward left field. Hit well. Willett's on the run, and he won't get there. They just split the outfielders and go to the warning track. Damon is going to hold up with a leadoff double. So the Tigers get the tying run in scoring position with nobody out.
And before the Tigers were able to acquire Johnny Damon, he had over 2,400 big league hits, and he has continued to pepper the baseball all around the baseball park, especially here at Comerica Park. He loves hitting in this yard. .354 career batter at Comerica, and just takes that outside pitch the opposite way with perfection. Entertaining the thought of going 3, but wisely held up, excuse me.
So the Tigers have their 4th hit. This is the 2nd straight inning they've gotten a leadoff double. Kazmir facing Ordonez. Maglio hits it on the ground to short. They're going to come to third, and Damon is safe. The ball gets away. But Johnny will hold there at third base. Ibar thought he could get Damon at third base, but he couldn't.
Ibar actually made the right play, just did not make a good throw to third base. As a rule of thumb, if the ball's hit right at you, you stay there. And Ibar recognized that, but when he threw right into Damon, and the Wood could not pick the ball coming up out of the white uniform that Johnny Damon is wearing, and the Tigers caught a break there. Would have been out by a lot, but the ball hit Johnny Damon.
Going to bring up Cabrera.
Someone gets an error. They're not sure who they're giving it to.
The shortstop. Fielder's choice E6. First error of the game now for the Angels. Here's Cabrera. Big swing, 0-1. Miguel reaching on a fielder's choice and stealing a base back in the third. He's also walked in this game. Not only the tying run on now for the Tigers, the go-ahead run as well. Driven to center field. Willits coming on. It's going to drop. Base hit. That'll tie the game. Maglio goes to second. He's in there, and it's a hit and an RBI for Cabrera.
That's why the big fella's hitting over 400 with runners in scoring position this season. He knows that he is the straw that stirs the drink as far as the offense is concerned, and every now and then when you're the big boy, you've got to expand your strike zone. This ball is in off the plate, but that's where they've been pitching him for the better part of a couple of days here, the Angels, and just fights it off with his brute strength to get another RBI. Some kind of strong.
26 RBIs now, so we're tied up again.
Good hitters, they know when to expand their strike zone when there's runners in scoring position.
Inge looks at a strike, 0-1. Brandon had a sac fly to knock it around in the first inning. $15 RBIs for Brandon. High fly ball. The left fielder Rivera comes in a couple of steps. One gone. Bonderman has his teammates pick him up here with a run. Tying the ball game back up again at 2, and here comes Ryan Rayburn. Kazmir now is approaching 100 pitches. He's thrown 95 here in the 5th. Rayburn had a double back in the 4th inning. Bouncing ball foul, third base side. Tiger team average coming in was 282, thanks in part to that big night last night. And that 282 mark is tied with Kansas City for the best in the American League. One and one. Tigers, though, with their 3 errors today, now have committed more than anybody else in the American League. 24 errors. Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1-2 on Rayburn.
Not going to get hurt very often if you're locating at the bottom of the strike zone with some of your touch and field pitches.
Fouled away. Rayburn had such a breakout year last year in a utility role for this team. Highs in homers and RBIs, and had quickly become a favorite of Jim Leyland's. went into spring training this year with a pretty good idea that he would be on the team. Swing and a miss, and Kazmir racks up another strikeout. It'll be his 6th.
Let's take a look at the pitch sequence. Kazmir to Rayburn here. We're going to make it our bell tire pitch by pitch. Runner in scoring position. Rayburn first pitch swinging, but Kazmir did a pretty nice job, at least early in count, of keeping the ball at the bottom of the strike zone before starting to elevate it later with fastballs. That's the art of pitching. You work down, you get ahead, then you change the eye level with fastballs up in the zone, and that's what Kazmir did successfully there against Ryan.
So now it's up to Gerald Laird, who fouls one away. Tigers have tied it up, but they had runners at first and second with nobody out. Inge with a fly ball, Rayburn with a strikeout. It's up to Laird now. Gerald, a pair of strikeouts today against Kazmir, who is now fan 6. One short of his season high, which was set against the Tigers. 7 strikeouts back on the 20th of April. Oh, 2. Well, the Tigers today just 1 for 11 with men in scoring position.
Kazmir has been able to pitch out of quite a bit of traffic today, but he can't do it all day.
Well, he's at 102 pitches.
Gerald Laird, a career .276 hitter against left-handers. One of those 2 out base hits would be lovely right here.
Got him. Strike 3. Laird is caught looking. He strikes out for the 3rd time today. That's 7 for Kazmir, but the Tigers tie it up. And now Bonderman back to work as we head to the 6th inning. Howie Kendrick leads it off for the Angels. Kendrick, Abreu, and Matsui. 2 runs, 5 hits for the home team. 2 runs, 7 hits for the Angels. And while Kazmir has gone over 100 pitches in this game, Bonderman's still in the 80s, the low 80s. Kendrick had a single, scored a run in the 4th. That inning, the Tigers committed 3 errors. Rolled slowly left side of the infield. Inge gobbles it up. Kendrick is out, one gone.
As a hitter, if you're Kendrick here, you see fastball coming right down the middle, and all of a sudden you see the ball start to creep inside, but you've already made up the decision to swing, and that ball right off Howie's thumbs. The guys that get to late movements are the guys that have lots of success at this level. You don't have to throw in 95, 96. But if you got action on most of your pitches and you work below the knees, you can have success.
Bobby Abreu, 0 for 2. Abreu came into this game as a .363 career hitter against Detroit. 1 ball, 1 strike.
He sees a lot of pitches. On average, at least 4. Every plate appearance. Always gets a real good look. Has a really good idea of what the opposing pitcher is trying to do to him. Good pitch. Looked like Bondo gave Abreu a little extra body here. Really sped up his body to disguise this off-speed pitch, and looked like Abreu was swinging at the body motion there.
Back to monitor that time. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Matsui waiting on deck. 2-2 pitch. 3-2 on Abreu. Eddie Bonino also starting to warm up in the Detroit bullpen. Bonderman has gone over 100 pitches once this year. And that was against the Angels. 3-2 is a strike called, and Abreu doesn't like it. And with 2 gone, we send it back to the studio. An update now from Mickey York on the Yankees and the White Sox. All right, Mick, thanks.
I saw Andrew Jones play a couple of games out in Arizona in spring training, and he's in great shape, and he's looking like the Andrew Jones of a couple of years ago, not the Andrew Jones that played for the Dodgers.
The Andrew Jones that played in Atlanta was a spectacular player.
No question about that. He's not that guy, but he's somewhere in the middle between that guy and the guy that struggled mightily in a Dodgers uniform for a couple of years.
Matsui has been kept off the bases, 0 for 2. And Bonderman in search of a 1-2-3 6th inning. And a ground ball, base hit, not going to get it. Matsui gets his first hit, single into right. He was just 2 for his previous 19 at bats, and they found a hole. It's going to keep the inning going out for Kendry Morales. Well, that White Sox team, 9-14 coming into play today. They were 6 games behind Minnesota. Trying to get a win now in New York. Two-out chance for Morales. He's 2 for 2 with a couple of singles. There was a story earlier this year when the Angels played the Yankees in New York. There was a situation with runners at first and second, and Joe Girardi told his pitcher to walk Morales intentionally with runners at first and second. He threw 1 pitch, and then Girardi changed his mind and said, no, pitch to him. And then Morales hit a 3-run homer.
on a 3-0 pitch.
The 1-1 swing and a miss. But I guess the moral of the story is that that's the type of hitter Morales has turned into, one that is at least giving managers the thought that maybe we should walk this guy even with guy on bases.
Yeah, Girardi admitted as much after that game that he made a mistake. He said his gut instinct told him to walk Morales, and then they decided to pitch to him, and then when the count was 3-0, they felt like he was swinging, and they still threw him a strike, and he hit a home run.
6 home runs this year for Morales. Driven to right field, and that ball will drop, base hit. 2-out rally now for the Angels. Back-to-back hits for Matsui and Morales.
Anytime you see a pitch in the range of about 85 miles an hour from Bondo, it's a breaking ball or possibly that splitter. That one was a breaking ball that stayed up, and when the velocity is not that great, it allows a good hitter like Morales to reach out and hit that ball back to the pull field.
Jim Leyland making his way out to the mound.
Doesn't look like he's bringing the hook with him, but he's going to take Bondo's temperature.
We've got Juan Rivera due next.
Well, he would love for Bonderman to get through this and somehow get back in the dugout with the score tied at 2, which would still make Bonderman the possible winner in this game. Not the loser, but the possible winner. And a lot of times Jim acts that way. Some of those decisions are made thinking about possible wins for his starting pitchers.
Well, he hasn't walked anybody today, but he'll have to get Rivera here to get through the 6th.
Rivera had that lengthy at bat the last time that he was up that kind of tired Bondo out a little bit before flying out to center field.
0 for 2 for Rivera. Line drive, left field, base hit. Here comes Matsui to third. They're going to try and score him. Here comes the throw to the plate, and it is in time. Out at home plate is Matsui.
What a nice deep job by Gerald Laird.
And Mike Scioscia will argue this one. Johnny Damon cut him down, but you're absolutely right. Gerald Laird with a terrific job.
Johnny Damon, they run on him all the time, but he airmails the cutoff man and gets the big out.
And it stays a 2-2 game.
Was sending Matsui home, but Matsui doesn't really know whether there's a play or not because Laird was standing there like a statue. Look at him. Then all of a sudden he takes the one-hop throw and he's able to drop that knee down to prevent Matsui from getting to the plate. Very close play. I can see why Scioscia came out to argue, but Gerald Laird actually made this play along with the throw from Johnny Damon.
So it stays a 2-2 game. Here come the Tigers in the bottom of the 6th inning. Scott Sizemore will lead it off, and then Adam Everett and Austin Jackson. They tried running on Johnny Damon, and he cut him down. Sizemore looks at a strike, 1-1. 7 strikeouts today for the starter Scott Kazmir, and he is answering the bell here in the 6th. Over 100 pitches. And missing outside, 2-1. Fly ball, left field, hit pretty deep. Rivera has room, though. Sizemore is out of there, 1 gone. It's going to bring up Adam Everett. Everett 0 for 1. He has a walk today. Adam on the homestand still hitless. 0 for 5. Kazmir's 1-0 pitch. To go with his 7 strikeouts today, Kazmir has also walked 4. (3-0) on the number 9 hitter. He's already walked him once in this game. There's a strike, 3-1. Another high fly ball. This one to left field as well. Rivera coming toward the corner. 2 gone.
It's still the 6th inning, which means we've got to get to our Coors Light freeze cam to you. Gerald Laird has thrown out a couple of base runners here today, but take a look at his body here. When the feet shift, you're able to shift that front shoulder, which gets the arm up and allows you to throw accurate throws. Again, foot, upper body, strong throw by Laird. Coors Light freeze cam always brought to you by your Frost Brewed Coors Light. Gerald Laird very fundamentally sound at that position, and we also watched him with a tremendous block that last half inning too. So Gerald getting it done on the defensive end today.
And it seems like his pitchers are giving him more of an opportunity these days to throw runners out.
That's key, because the beginning of the year, Gerald was not getting an opportunity to throw out base runners at all. And his percentage because of that is down. But lately, both he and Avila, the youngster, have been getting plenty of time to throw.
Alex has thrown out 5. Austin Jackson, the batter, 1 for 3 in the game. Fouled back, 1-1 on Jackson. Single scored a run back in the 1st inning. Tigers got 1 in the 1st and then 1 more in the 5th. 2-2 game here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Driven foul down the right field line, 1-2. That was pitch number 115 for Scott Kazmir. Again to right field. This one is slicing, and that ball is a foul ball.
I know it's really not that big a deal, but it's worth mentioning. I mean, you don't see many starting pitchers going 115, 116 pitches these days.
Well, you're right. And I know the old timers would say,
you got that right.
But it's different these days.
Even in Socha's era, you know, guys
right.
were throwing, you know, more than 115, 116. He was catching them.
Driven to left field, right at Rivera.
Fernando Valenzuela had no pitch count.
1-2-3 inning. 6 in the books. We go to the 7th.
continued to throw it, but he did bring Mr. Snappy with him. He threw some dandy sliders down and into the left-handers, and he had him check swinging all day. And when he got him looking for that pitch, it was a swing-back fastball variety that got Bobby Abreu looking. And when you're pitching well and you're getting lots of ground balls and you're pitching the contact, you're bound to get a couple of double plays. And that's exactly what Bonderman did here this afternoon. A quality start for Jeremy Bonderman today against a very good Angels ball club.
Which leads us to our Comerica game summary. In a 2-2 game here in the 7th. Tigers have 3 errors. They lead Major League Baseball with 24. Jeremy Bonderman's numbers. And runners in scoring position. The Tigers 1 for 12, yet it is still only a tie game. They're not trailing in this one. They've been out hit 10-5 as well. Ball side windows pitching change. There is Mr. Eddie Bonine.
Sparkling numbers from Niner is what his teammates call him, short for Bonine. And he's pitched in 9 games, as a matter of fact, as well for the Tigers. Great record, 2-0. Earned run average is tremendous. 4 walks for Bonine in 12 innings pitched this year. That's pretty much what he does. He throws strikes, which means he gives up hits on occasion.
Here come the Angels now as we go to the 7th inning. It'll be Napoli, Wood, and Willits. 7, 8, 9 in Mike Scioscia's lineup.
And Bonine's got a fastball. He's got a curveball, which he's thrown a lot of this year because it's been a good pitch. And he also throws a very hard knuckleball that acts a lot like a split-fingered fastball.
Napoli's been able to wake up in this series. Did not have an extra base hit before the series started, and he has a triple and 2 doubles in the last 2 days. The 1-0. Ten Angels hits, yet they've only been able to parlay that into 2 runs. Left a couple of guys on in the last inning. Of course, had a runner thrown out at the plate as well. The 1-1 pitch. 1-2 on Mike Napoli.
I don't know what that was, but look at the action on this thing here. It's the knuckleball, but look at the action on it. Goodness gracious. You can't hit that.
The old dropped off the table.
Wow.
The 1-2.
That thing's dancing today.
It is. And Napoli couldn't get it. Bonine appearing with the Tigers for the 3rd consecutive year, up and down the last 2 years. Broke camp with the team this season. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss.
Knuckleballers will always tell you that they like when the wind's blowing out. And here at Comerica Park, the wind's blowing out today, and that's why he's got that knuckleball that's dancing all over the place. When you're throwing into the wind, the ball just seems to dance, and Napoli had no shot at these knuckleballs that Bonine was featuring. Take a look at the flag. It's kind of blowing straight out, which helps knuckleballers out.
Kind of clouding up again, too. Here's Brandon Wood.
Tigers bullpen has been sensational this year. I mean, sensational. Bonine, Need, Koch, Valverde, Perry, Zamaya, you name it.
Especially
all of them.
When you consider, Riley, coming into the season, there were some question marks. I mean, we didn't really quite know what Joel Zamaya would give this team.
Plus, there was no Zach Minor. And Minor has done tremendous work for the Tigers the last few years, and there was no Bobby C. Those guys logged a lot of innings for Tigers bullpen the last few years.
So the bullpen, this is how good that they have been.
Zach and Bobby, if you're watching, get healthy. But look at these numbers. Nee and Zamaya have racked up 30 strikeouts between them.
3-1 on Brandon Wood.
And as a manager, you like to have some guys in your bullpen to throw strikes late in games, but there's nothing better than strike throwers and guys that can miss bats too, guys that can get strikeouts.
Bonderman Gave them a good outing today. Jim Leland hoping the offense can wake up. 3-2 on Brandon Wood. And here it is. Driven to center field. That ball is going to get down. Base hit. 1-out single.
Hey fans, visit the official online shop of the Detroit Tigers at Tigers.com. Browse the largest selection of authentic Tigers merchandise, including clubhouse, caps, t-shirts, jerseys, sweatshirts, and a whole lot more. Get your gear straight from the source at Tigers.com.
So here comes Reggie Willits. 11 hits now for the Angels, 2 of them for Brandon Wood. Willits is 0 for 2. Tough guy to double up. He can run, especially out of the left side of the batter's box. Switch hitting outfielder. A few years back in 07, he hit .293 for the Angels in his rookie year. Last year, spent the majority of the season at Salt Lake, their AAA team, the PCL.
Just showed a shot of Brandon Inge getting in his ready position in front of the bag at third with Willits up because of that speed you talked about. Brandon kind of starts like he's getting ready to take the baton in like a 4x4 relay or something.
Yeah, you don't normally see that. His shoulders are pretty much squared to the baseline. At third baseline.
Here you go. Now you can see him turning right as the pitch gets in the hitting zone, and that last little movement there, him getting into an athletic position, getting onto the balls of his feet, which allows him to move laterally at that third base position as about as well as any in the game.
Swing and a miss, and Willits goes down. Strikeout for Bonin is his second.
He's got that knuckler dancing today. And that one didn't have as much depth and tilt to it. And this is the knuckleball that he usually throws. It's a harder knuckleball, and it usually acts like a forkball. He said he doesn't have the type of knuckleball that, say, a Wakefield had, or the Necro Brothers, or Charlie Huff, those floating knuckleballs. His is a little bit harder, the Bonin knuckleball. It's also a self-taught pitch. He taught himself that pitch when he was playing junior college baseball in Arizona.
2 outs. Here's Eric Ibar. Guys like Wakefield and Steve Sparks of the Tigers, those guys could throw 130 pitches no problem.
Yep.
Because the majority of them were knuckleballs.
And they come back and throw 130 the next day.
Ibar is 1 for 3. Angels have the go-ahead run down at first base with 2 outs. Bouncing ball back up the middle. Everett wins the race to the bag, and the side retires. So we go to the stretch here at Comerica Park.
He's got a little rhythm now.
Apparently so. We have a new pitcher. It's Kevin Jepson.
He's having a great year, and he's been one of the go-to guys for Mike Scioscia. And the back end of that bullpen, 14 games. Doesn't have a record, but the earned run average is really good. 12 strikeouts against 3 walks. Really good numbers.
So the Tigers trying to take the lead here. They will have Johnny Damon to lead it off, then Maglio, and then Miguel Cabrera facing Mr. Jepson. 1 through 4, 4 for 11 on the offense today. They have scored the 2 runs. Damon looks at a strike. Johnny's single double run scored. Lifted back out of play, 0-2.
Third time this afternoon Johnny Damon has led off for the Tigers. Successful back in the 5th with a leadoff double.
The 2 innings the Tigers have scored, they've gotten a leadoff man on. Jackson with a single in the 1st, Damon a double in the 5th. Ooh, he just fought that one off.
This cat throws hard, man. He's 96, 97, power fastball, and he's got an outstanding breaking ball. And the numbers indicate that. 12 strikeouts against just 3 walks for Jepson.
A closer in the making. Saved 16 games in A-ball a few years back. And Damon stays alive, 0-2.
Mike Scioscia was talking about Jepson yesterday and was asked the biggest difference in him, his numbers this year versus in the past, and it's just confidence. He said this guy truly believes that he belongs in the big leagues now. He can get big leagues hitters out at the back end of the game, and a lot of times that's what it takes. Not just talent. You've got to believe that you're good too.
7 holds for Jepson.
Nothing he's thrown has been straight.
He's born in Anaheim, went to high school in Nevada. Off the end of the bat.
Comcast pitch speeds this at bat to Damon. 98 that last pitch.
So Damon will give him a battle. Tigers have 5 hits today. The Angels have 11.
It's about time for Jepson to throw that unhittable breaking ball that he features. He disguises it very well as a strike, and a lot of hitters just have a very tough time of, one, hitting it and also laying off of it.
Breaking ball bounced in, 2-2. Damon with his double in the 5th inning now has 8 of those. 8 2-base hits in his last 10 games. Ordonez on deck. On the ground to the third baseman, Wood. 1 out of the 7th. He's going to bring up Maglio. Ordonez reaching on the fielder's choice, and he's also popped up and walked. 297 average now for the year for Maglio. Scott Kazmir went 6 innings, struck out 7 Tigers, gives way to Jepson here in the 7th. The 0-1. Bouncing ball right back to the mound. Jepson able to flag it down, and Maglio is out of there. 2 gone.
Hey, Tigers fans, this season it's easier than ever to find the seats you want or sell the tickets to the games you can't make on StubHub. the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Detroit Tigers. Go to StubHub.com and choose your seats today.
Here's Cabrera with the bases empty. Miguel tied the game with an RBI single in the 5th. Fouled away 0-1.
It's a good matchup right here, but if you're Jepson and you're thinking you can just huff and puff and stick your chest out against big fella, he's been hitting some closers lately. Game is close.
Right back at the second baseman off the end of the bat. So Kendrick will gobble this one up and the side retired. Tigers go 1-2-3. You're watching Tigers baseball today on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. Clinic. They had different stations. This one was concerned with hitting. Lloyd McClendon and Austin Jackson. Infield work with Rafael Belliard, Scott Sizemore. And pitching with Rick Porcello. And Jeff Jones, the bullpen coach.
If you notice, it's all the babies that have to get up in the morning and get out and do the clinic. No veterans, just the babies.
Is that the way it goes?
That's the way it goes.
Got to pay your dues. Well, Howie Kendrick is leading it off. It'll be Kendrick, Abreu, and Matsui here in the 8th. Tigers 2, Angels 2. Game 2 in the series. Roll toward third base. Inge scooping to his left. Kendrick is now 1 gone.
I think for fans to experience hearing from some of the younger players is a tremendous thing. I mean, because it's the young kids that look up to the younger players. Not that they don't look up to the veterans, but they look up to the younger kids, and it's good to see the young players come out and pass on some knowledge that they've learned.
These kids look up to you. They had your name on that side.
Did they really?
Yeah. Well, that's going to be it for Bonine. Tigers take a pitching change here, and so will we. We'll step aside. Back in a moment. Abreu, then you've got Matsui. Jim Leland going to the pen and pulling out his lefty. And he slings one in for a ball outside, 1-0.
And Foutte, like so many of the Tigers relievers, have done a marvelous job, but the 14 strikeouts in 10 2/3 innings are not usually numbers associated with me, but for whatever reason this year, he's got that swing and miss pitch going.
The 1-0 rolled towards second base. Easy play there for Sizemore. Abreu is out. Well, you can look at the career splits and 128 lefties.
Well, that's why Jim brought him in against these two guys, Abreu and Matsui. Left-handers usually don't bother Abreu and Matsui, but a guy like me with those kinds of numbers against southpaws can at least slow them down a little bit.
And the other thing about knee is Matsui digs in. This year, right-handers are hitting just 174 against him.
Nice little changeup, little fading changeup to the right-handers. Look at that pitch.
Wow. Matsui was bailing.
Wasn't he, though?
Hideki had a single in the 6th.
Front door breaking ball. An appearance by Fox Tracks as well.
The 0-1 is outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Angels have badly out-hit the Tigers today, 11-5, yet it's 2-2. Good work today by Jeremy Bonderman. Now the 1-1. Strike called, 1-2 on Matsui.
He is locating the ball very well. That time at the bottom of the strike zone, the first breaking ball to Matsui. That ball stayed up and in on the inner third, called for a strike by Gary Cederstrom. Going away this time. Ooh.
Oh, knee was going to the dugout.
Knee should have kept on walking. That's a strike. He should have kept on walking.
Well, Fox Tracks is saying a little low.
Yeah. Knee almost walked in the dugout.
Fox Tracks is out of breath, man. That's 3 in a row. 2-2 pitch. Popped up foul, back out of play. Now, what would have happened if Knee just kept walking and went right to the dugout? And just refused to pitch again?
It would have been funny, that's for sure. It would have been funny.
Let's try a 2-2 pitch again. Here it comes. Swing and a miss. Foutte Knee gets Abreu and Matsui. Turns out to be a 1-2-3 inning. Let's get the bats going. Bottom of the 8th coming up. Dets and the Angels here in Game 2 in this series. It is time now for the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. And remember, this play, we'll go back to it. It's a big play. Johnny Damon putting down the runner at home plate. Matsui is out. There's our Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. Nice job by Laird blocking the plate. So we remain at 2, and we have a new pitcher. It's a familiar face in a different uniform. Fernando Rodney.
Angels signed Rodney to a 2-year contract at pretty good money. It's one of the reasons why he's hanging out in Hollywood these days. Earned run average is a little up, 309, but not bad. But Rodney has been very good in save opportunities, just as he was as a Tiger last year. 2-0 record as well. Opponent's batting average 108. You know what Rodney features. It's the fastball in the mid to upper 90s. And it's that devastating changeup. And apparently, Socha's got no problem with him wearing that hat that way. He's got the tilt to it. Jim Leland wasn't having any of that.
He used to wear it that way here, though.
No, not tilted like that.
He'd sneak it. Maybe in the bullpen. And then when he'd come in, and, oh my goodness, that is tilted quite a bit. Inge pops it up. Left side of the infield. Ibar still waiting. And it finally nestles into his glove. One gone. It's going to bring up Ryan Rayburn. Rayburn with a double and 2 strikeouts today. Jepson had a 1-2-3 seventh. Now Fernando Rodney here in the 8th. Ball 1.
I was reading an article after the Angels decided to sign Rodney after he had been on the free agent market for quite some time, and they just kind of felt like they wanted to upgrade their bullpen. Their pitching coach, Mike Butcher, was saying that Rodney was the only player last year to pitch in their ballpark to touch 100 miles an hour. He feels like the gun they have in Anaheim is a true gun. It's not fast. It usually gives you a correct reading, and he said that weighed heavily into their decision in signing Rodney because of the way that he pitched in that ballpark and the velocity that he showed.
Well, there were some other teams that were interested in Fernando. I know the Orioles were looking at him as well. And Rodney is limiting opponents this year to a 108 batting average.
Rodney really had a great year here last year from a save opportunities situation. Obviously, he had some struggles when their game wasn't on the line.
There's a base hit the other way for Rayburn.
But when the game was on the line, there was no one better than Fernando.
3-0 pitch is lined to right field. Rayburn is on, and that's going to bring up Gerald Laird. Laird has fanned 3 times in this game. That is the 6th hit for the Tigers in this game. Swing and a miss.
Against Rodney, you can't take big swings. You've got to shorten up. Socha, watching Rayburn, knowing that Rodney on occasion can be slow to home plate, therefore giving the signs to Napoli to make sure Rodney keeps a close eye on Rayburn and doesn't give him a gift stolen base.
Little bouncing ball hit to the right side. Morales will flip to second. They get one. Relay. Not in time. They almost turned that. I didn't think they had a chance. So Laird is aboard with a fielder's choice.
The play starts with the first baseman, and we talk about first baseman quite often and how they're undervalued. But look at Morales here. He grabs it and he runs the ball almost to second base, which gives Ibar a nice feed. And Ibar, with the play evolving right in front of him, he saw where Laird was, and he thought he possibly could turn it. Laird got jammed on the swing, which meant he didn't get out of the batter's box in a timely manner. That's why the play was closer than we thought it would be.
2 outs, and now Sizemore. Scott 0 for 2 today with a walk. Rodney straightens him up. Sizemore hit his first big league home run in last night's game. Now has 5 RBIs. Checked his swing. 2-0. Fernando's ERA last year with the Tigers was well over 4.40. But he had 37 saves and 38 opportunities.
And here's a situation where he's not afraid to throw that changeup. 2-0. And Rodney not afraid to throw that pitch, although he gives Sizemore a fastball there.
2-1 on Scott. Angels signed Fernando to a 2-year deal, which will take him through 2011. They signed him up December 24th. Pretty good Christmas present. Runner goes. Here comes the throw from Napoli into center field. Laird gets up. He's coming to third. And he is in there.
If there is one weakness with Fernando, it's the fact that he will forget about a base runner. We talked about Rayburn when he was over there. Socha was really watching Rayburn close, but Rodney comes up. Conventional leg kick, and that allows Laird to steal the base. And if you're Napoli, when you see the base runner with that kind of jump, your natural tendency is to rush. And when you rush, you usually throw the ball to the second base side of the bag. Laird alertly gets up after the throw into the outfield, and now he's at third.
3-1 on Sizemore. Swing and a miss, and now it's 3-2. Stolen base E2.
Not many changeups in this inning from Rodney. Lots of power stuff. Fastballs in the upper 90s.
In the air, right field, slicing, and it will go foul. Tigers have the go-ahead run at third base with 2 outs here in the 8th. 3-2 on Scott Sizemore. Laird bluffing down the line, a bouncing ball foul. Gerald reaching on the fielder's choice, standing at third now with 2 away. Can Sizemore deliver the 2-out hit? Inside, ball 4. 2 men on. Rodney issues a walk. Everett is due up but will not bat. Santiago will be called upon.
I like this move right here by Jim. Some people would say, why not Brennan Bosch right here? Or why not Kelly, another guy that hits from the left side? But against a guy like Rodney, a guy like Santiago, who is just a contact hitter, has a better chance of putting the ball in play than the other bigger fellas do.
Mike Butcher out for a quick chat. Of course, Rodney knows all about Santiago.
And Mike Butcher's out there to refresh his memory as well as to what Santiago does well and what he doesn't do. Santiago getting last-minute instructions now from Lloyd McClendon.
First and third, and Ramon Santiago will pinch hit for Adam Everett.
Most power pitchers will tell you they would love to see that big power hitter standing in the batter's box because they're prone to strike out a little bit more than the table setters.
Well, Santiago has been introduced. 2-2 game here in the 8th.
Tiger fans loving Santiago these days.
Why not? He's had some good numbers. Trying to give his team the lead. Inside, 1 ball, no strikes. Wave and a miss. 1-1.
Just about every pitch that Rodney has thrown in this inning, and he's thrown a total now of 18 as we get a look at Fox Tracks on that last changeup. The previous 16 pitches at least were fastballs, but back-to-back changeups to Santiago.
Santiago has hit .389 from the left side this year. 326 overall. He's ahead of the count here. 2 balls, 1 strike. Way inside again, and now it goes to 3-1. Jackson on deck. Austin 1 for 4 today. Runner going from first base, bouncing ball back up the middle. High bars, throws in time, and the threat is over for the Tigers. No runs, they leave 2, and we go to the 9th inning. Jam.
Hey fans, just a little reminder here. Tomorrow, the final game of this series against the Angels. Coverage begins at 12:30 with Tigers Live, followed by the game at 1 o'clock. Tigers baseball, presented by Bell Tire, tomorrow afternoon on Fox Sports Detroit and in high def on Fox Sports Detroit HD. A couple of aces going tomorrow.
JW against JV. Jared Weaver, Justin Verlander.
A couple of talented right-handers in the American League.
Well, it was the month of May in which Verlander took off last year. We have reached May. And we'll see if that is the same case this year. So we're tied at 2 as we go to the 9th. Foutini is still out there. And the first man he will face is Kenry Morales. Rivera and then Napoli to follow. First pitch strike from Fu-Tae Ni. Three for three today for Morales. All singles plus a run score. On the ground to the shortstop, Santiago. And one gone. Ni has retired all three that he has faced so far, and that's going to be it for Fu-Tae. Jim Leyland coming out. A couple of righties due up. Tigers have Ryan Perry warming up. And so Ni does a terrific job. Faces three batters, gets all three. He'll give up the baseball. Another pitching change. We'll be back. Meanwhile, don't miss your chance to see the Tigers battle the New York Yankees May 10th through the 13th. Their only visit to Comerica Park this season. Tickets available now at 866-66-TIGER or online at tigers.com. New pitcher now for the Tigers is Ryan Perry.
Perry's been very good this year. Overpowering fastball anywhere from 95 to 97 miles an hour. Slider that's still a developing pitch for him, but when he grips it just right and gets to the proper arm window and arm slot, it's got some really nice depth and tilt to it. That's why he's posted very good numbers.
Juan Rivera will test him with one away. Ball inside, 1-0. So Bonine does a good job. Gives way to Ni, who retired all three that he faced. And now it's Perry against Rivera. Rivera is 1 for 3, single fly ball and a double play ball. There's some action in the bullpen. Scott Shields, Brian Fuentes. Been a rocky start to the year for Shields. High fly ball into right field. And the wind got a hold of that one. Rayburn runs it down. 2 gone. He's going to bring up Mike Napoli. Napoli, a couple of extra base hits today, 2 doubles. Team ERA for that Tigers bullpen coming into play this afternoon was 2.23. And really what makes it an extra special job by the pen this year is the fact that, as Jim Leyland says over and over, he hasn't gotten his starters to go deep into the game. So they've been used quite a bit, and they have responded.
They've carried the pitching staff through the first month.
Two 2-0 on Napoli. Hasn't hit a homer yet this year, but boy, does he have some power.
Which is exactly why Perry here in the 2-0 count, if he throws a fastball, he's got to make Napoli use the big part of the ballpark, which is center field. If he hits it out of there, tip your hat.
3-0.
He's got the green light. If he wants to swing at a fastball here, he definitely can do it. Socha not afraid to give some of his players the green light on 3-0.
He does, and he skies it a mile high in the air to center field. Jackson is under it, and that is that for the Angels. 1, 2, 3 they go. We're headed to the bottom of the 9th inning. 2-2 game. Since 1849. Wallside Windows. For a free and-home estimate, call 1-800-521-7800. And by Bell Tire, get the lowest tire price, period. Back here in a cloudy Motor City this afternoon. 2-2 is our score as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Tigers looking for a walk-off win here today. And they'll have the top of their lineup up against a new pitcher. It'll be Scott Shields.
Last time they saw Scott Shields, it was out in Anaheim on April 20th, and he looked very unlike himself, at least the Scott Shields that we have watched over the years. He walked three earned runs.
Shields comes into this game with an ERA of 10.50. And Austin Jackson will start things off for the Tigers. Bottom of the 9th inning, 2-2 game. Jackson takes ball 1.
This is where you got to see some pitches. I mean, this is where you got to be a legitimate leadoff hitter. He should know about the wildness that Shields has had this year. There you go. Make him throw you a strike. Now you go to work.
Damon and then Ordonez to follow. Strike called in the outer edge, and now it's 1-2. Shields has allowed 9 runs in his last 7 outings.
Socha hadn't lost confidence in him because he's in a 2-2 game in the 9th. He knows that they're only going to be as good as their bullpen, because that's usually the way the Angels are. They have good bullpens, and that's why they win the West just about every year.
Line drive caught by the second baseman Kendrick.
Had him played perfectly to Kendrick.
Jackson hit it hard. 1 out.
Couple of steps, And Howie reaches up and takes a base hit away from Jackson.
Here's Johnny Damon. Johnny was saying the other day the one thing he wants to step up in his game right now is the power. He had a lot of it last year. Everything else is clicking right now. This would be a nice spot. 2 balls, no strikes. Damon has yet to homer this season. 2 more hits today, single and a double. Drives one deep in the air. Way back to right. Johnny Damon has won it. It's a walk-off home run for Johnny Damon.
You called it.
And there's the power that Damon was looking for. Tigers win. And a crowd of 31,000 going nuts. First home run of the season for Johnny Damon. And it comes at the perfect time. How about that?
He's a true veteran, and he knows exactly what to do in certain situations. It looks like a BP fastball right down the middle, and a lot of times those don't get to the catcher's glove, and Johnny Damon knew it was gone as soon as he hit it.
Abreu went back as far as he could, and a row 1 homer gives the Tigers a victory. And the first 2 games in this series against the Angels. Right now we check in with Trevor Thompson. He is standing by with today's hero. Trev?
Mario, Johnny Damon saved a very appropriate time to hit his first homer as a Tiger. Johnny, this got to feel good for you. You said you got all of it, but you feel it barely got out of the park.
Well, yeah, if you take a look at that win right now, I had a pretty good swing at it, but unfortunately...
if you're looking...
They're not supposed to do that to a 15-year veteran.
I was about to tell him who to look for, Mario, who the culprit was. That was Gerald Laird that snuck in with the shaving cream pie.
How about that?
Obviously, Johnny Damon's going to want to wipe that off his face. We'll try to catch up with him in just a little bit. Let me get it back to you for now.
All right, Trev.
They're not supposed to do that to the 15-year vets.
Stuff like that's supposed to happen to the Sizemores and the Brendan Bosches, not the Johnny Damons. Stay with us. Johnny Damon trying to get the shaving cream out of his eyes. We'll be back.